Now then, welcome back to another episode of the Sitcom Archive Deep Dive Overdrive with me, Eggs Benedict.
And me, Alison Barton-Simmons.
Hello, Al.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm alright.
Excellent.
We are now currently taking the deepest of dives into The Good Life, as we do every week. We're about halfway through, aren't we? I think just under halfway through.
Yeah, we've just tipped into Series 3.
Yeah. And there's only 4 series of this, but there's 2 Christmas specials. So I think after this one, we're exactly halfway through. I think.
When do the Christmas specials fall? Are they at the end of 3 and the end of the
third series and at the end of the 4th series?
Excellent.
So, yes. So this is the 15th of 30 episodes, so it's exciting.
Yeah.
We're really going to have to start thinking about what we do next. But before we get onto that, let's keep on with The Good Life. If you want to join in with us and follow along, the best thing to do is to watch the episodes before you listen to our episodes. So you can watch the old episodes of The Good Life on, what's it called? BritVision, what's it called?
BritBox.
BritBox, that's the one.
Yes.
I'm in New Zealand, I don't give a shit about these things. But BritBox has got them all. You can buy the DVDs, and they're on Dailymotion for free, and every week we tweet out links where you can watch the old episode of The Good Life so that you know what we're blathering on about the following day when we deconstruct the hell out of it. So we'd love you to do that, and it probably makes more sense if you do, because then you know what we're talking about. This week's episode, do you know what it is, Alison? Can you remember?
I do. It's the early birds.
The early birds. Yes. And before we get stuck into the early birds, I've got another one of my periodic quizzes for you, if you're keen to accept the challenge.
Always keen.
Do you want to blow your nose first?
No, I'm okay.
Right.
I'm fine. I was just had a quick pick, and I'm all right. Thank you.
So this week's quiz is all on the subject of Dickie Briers.
Oh, right. Good old Dickie.
Found all this interesting stuff about Richard Briers. So I've got 3 questions for you, okay?
Yes.
Question number 1 is true or false. Richard Briers has a degree from Oxford University. True or false?
Now, is Oxford the one with footlights, or is that just Oxford and Cambridge, or is it Cambridge footlights?
Cambridge is the one I know of, but I mean Oxford presumably does. Most universities
does have a similar sort of thing. Because I can
Mitchell
imagine
and
him
Webb
being
and all of those, Stephen Fry and all them were in Cambridge, weren't they?
I'm going to say yes, he does.
No, false.
Oh,
Keeping up your form of getting all the questions wrong.
Yes.
Richard Briers left school without any qualifications whatsoever. He hasn't got an O-level, an A-level, or in his own words, he hasn't even got a Z-level.
Wow.
He was a truant, never turned up, and he was a wheeler-dealer. When he did turn up, he was sort of working out the economics of supply and demand. He would go and buy sweets and then sell them at a markup, and drinks to kids on sports day and stuff like that, I think.
Wow, so already in preparation for playing Tom?
I think so. This is his headmaster's report. It would seem that Richard Briers thinks he is running the school and not me. If this persists, one of us will have to leave.
Wow.
I think it was Dickie Briers being a bit of a tinker. So question 2. Yes. Richard Briers has a very famous cousin. This isn't true or false, this is fact.
Okay, do I have to guess who it is?
I will give you 3 options. You don't have to
just pull names out of the air.
Yeah. Was it Zsa Zsa Gabor? No. 3 options for you.
Go.
A. Terry Thomas. B. Clive Sinclair. C. Patrick Moore.
Right. So Terry Thomas, is that a DJ?
No, I think he's an old old bawdy British comedies.
Oh, right. Who am I thinking of then?
I don't know, a DJ of that name.
DJ.
But Terry Thomas, he sort of was, he's a bit like, oh, hello. It's like that guy.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was the other guy who was like that as well, whose name escapes me now, but it'll come back to me. Yes, he's just like an old... I don't think he was in the Carry On films, or he might have been in some of the Carry On films.
Okay.
And then Clive Sinclair, you probably know who Clive Sinclair is, and Patrick Moore was the astrologer.
Yes. And he played the glockenspiel.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, God. Glockenspiel or xylophone. I can never remember which is which, but yeah, oh my God. If you can YouTube him doing that, he's amazing.
Is he doing? Is he in a band with Bob Holness doing the sax?
Yeah, they're like the travelling Wilburys, just like loads of TV celebs just in a band.
I'd watch it.
I would.
So what's your answer?
Let me think. I think I'm going to go to Clive Sinclair.
Incorrect.
Oh, fucking hell.
The correct answer is Terry Thomas, who clearly you don't know anyway, but he was he was quite a big deal.
Okay. I think I know who he is. I think I vaguely have a picture of him. I might need to just Google this while we're...
Yeah, Google image him, but also if you watch a video clip of him doing his shtick, you'll recognise it because it was very... I'm trying to think what the name of the other guy is who did exactly the same shtick.
Terry Thomas. I know who he is now. Who's the other guy? What's he called?
Oh, he was in Carry On Films. The other guy.
They look quite similar.
It'll come to me. Anyway, so the third question: true or false? Richard Briers had red hair as a baby.
True.
False.
Oh my god.
Now, I know that's a bit of a curveball question. Why would you know the answer to that question? However, the reason I throw it in is because of the anecdote about Richard Briers, whereby apparently the nurse handed the baby to his mother and said, "He's absolutely beautiful. Remember to support his head, blah, blah, blah." And as Richard's mother took a first look at her child, she let out a piercing scream. "That's not my baby. He's got red hair. And none of the family have red hair, and unless my husband has been hiding red-haired relatives from me, neither does he." So after nervous discussions with the sister and the doctor, the quaking nurse took the baby back to the nursery and a few minutes later reappeared, carrying a different bundle of joy.
Oh my goodness.
"I'm so sorry," she said, handing the bundle to Mrs. Briers. "It never happened before. How can you forgive me?" So Briers was nearly the subject of a infant mix-up in hospital.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Saved by not having red hair.
Yep. If he'd had gingivitis, then he would have been raised. He may never have been Tom Good. We might have had a different Tom Good.
Wow, that's quite shocking, isn't it? Because that's not something that happens anymore, is it? Accidental baby swaps.
Not outside of farce movies, no.
Oh, and made for TV films on Channel 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yes, it happened to him, and he's quite lucky, it sounds like. It was a good job his mother just sort of had that sense, wasn't it?
Very sort of, on the ball. But you've just had a baby. The last thing on your mind is sort of looking for babies that aren't yours.
Yeah, exactly. You're too busy smarting, I believe.
You are, yes, indeed. Smarting is a good way to describe it.
Yeah, I've heard it hurts a bit. So should we get stuck into Series 3, Episode 1, The Early Birds?
Let's do that.
Good life, good life, good life, good life, good life, good life, good life.
So this episode starts with our first look at the Leadbetters' marital boudoir.
Have we not seen their bedroom before? Oh, we saw it briefly through the window, didn't we? In the first episode, but not inside. Yes.
Margo is wearing a mask in bed, which I thought was kind of right. She had a mask on. But what puzzled me was her gown was just thrown over the bed. Almost on top. I would have thought she'd have been a sort of everything in its place type of lady. She'd have hung it up and done all her ablutions properly, not sort of just gone...
strewn. So it's just strewn across the room.
Yeah. Didn't seem very Margo. But they're in bed and they're trying to sleep and it's early in the morning and they're woken up to the noise of the goods with their early start because they're tilling the land. Tom's on his rotary cultivator. And to be honest, he's being an inconsiderate prick. I mean, it's not much of a surprise, is it?
When Margo and Jerry appear across the fence and they come storming out, don't they? And they're very cross. And I'm thinking, oh, God, here we go. Like, moaning about it, because there's no sort of indication about what time it is, and you sort of think, oh, God, are they just moaning? Surely they must have had this before. Surely this must have happened in the recent past. So, to find out that it was 6 a.m. and the goods are beavering away already, just made me a bit cross. It's like...
Well, yeah, they were just being really selfish, weren't they? And it wasn't even that they were working. It was the fact that they were, like, shouting to each other, messing about, playing games. And when they were being bollocked by Margo and Jerry, they couldn't give a shit. They just kept making flippant remarks and being really chipper and sarcastic. And Margo tells them to shut up, which is like quite fierce for her. And to be honest, I'd have fed Tom into that rotary cultivator if that happened to me.
It really does highlight, doesn't it, the differences between the couples now, between the neighbours, of how far they've come with their different lives. And it made me feel a little bit sad, I suppose, because things are sort of diverging a little bit in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, the humour from it comes in the fact that the two couples are so different. But just as a little aside here, I was reading also something with Penelope Keith this week saying that one of the reasons you could never remake the show was because society's changed so much. Couples of different lifestyle like that wouldn't be able to be next door neighbours because they just wouldn't be able. Two couples, a couple earning the equivalent of 100k plus a year and a couple living off the land would not be able to afford a house on the same street.
No.
And that's sad. That made me sad, really, to think about. It's sort of ghettoising
it just wouldn't work.
The country, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
By class. But anyway, on that cheerful note, so Margo's told them to shut up, and I think Margo and Jerry flounce back into their house. Tom and Barbara carry on with what they're doing, and then next thing you know, they're back in the kitchen doing the dishes. Tom's whistling away, and Barbara is all over Tom like a bloody hobo on a ham sandwich, isn't she? She's really loved up with him.
She is, and feeling the gratitude that her husband's at home all day with her, and they get to spend all this time together. So for them, you just I think it must be working. It must be working as a social, not experiment, but as a lifestyle. It must be working for the goods.
Yeah, they're really happy, which is nice. I mean, I do think she's a bit unhinged to be so happy to have that guy around all day. Even putting aside my bias, she admits that he is irritating in this scene.
Yeah.
But she's still glad he's there. I guess love conquers all, doesn't it? She just ignores all his faults. And they're happy.
There never seems to be like a resentment about it, does there? There never seems... And because they talk about stuff all the time, you sort of get the feeling that things are generally worked through as they appear.
Do you think 65-year-old Tom and Barbara, after a lifetime of this, and as Tom gradually ramps it up as he gets older, do you think Barbara eventually snaps?
I don't know. Or do you just grow into it?
Commit spouse-side?
I think they'd just grow into it. They'd just grow into like life together. As an older Tom and Barbara, I think it would just carry on working.
Yeah, let's stick to that because...
Yeah, I like the idea.
I don't actually think I should have said that. I don't want my cynicism to pervade and affect you. They're my issues. And then we get Margo bursting in. She doesn't knock because manners have gone, apparently.
Yes.
So she doesn't see the need to knock because the goods are showing no manners, and she's burst in because she wants her nutcrackers back that she loaned to them 8 years previously in 1966 or whatever it was.
Do you think she's been sat trying to think of something that she could go round and collect off them in order to make it quite clear that she's a bit cross with them?
Yeah, but they still don't pick up on it, really, because they're living their own little Tom and Barbara world. Either that or she wants the nutcrackers because she wants to put Jerry's nuts in a vice because she's manipulating him. But either way, she's not happy. And then Tom and... Well, I think it's mainly Tom, isn't it? He just says he's sorry, and Margo... It's really nice because it's funny because Tom says, Margo, sorry, and Margo says, what are you implying?
She's straight away waiting to sort of like grab him round the throat again, isn't she?
Yeah, but when it's clear that it's a heartfelt, genuine apology, she's so made up with it. You can see her big beaming smile. It's really sweet.
It is. I love Margo when she's like that.
Yeah, kind and warm, which is the juxtaposition of her, isn't it? Well, she's also a battle axe at the same time. And then, so, they're made up and that's all very good. But then later that day, night's fallen. And the goods are clearly cream-crackered from all the work they've been doing in the garden. And I
think the lifestyle just sounds horrendous. When you sit and see them at the table, when you see them sitting at the table and how tired they are and how it's just never ending and all-consuming, there's like no break at all, is there, from this life?
Yes, I couldn't. I don't see the appeal at all.
No, it doesn't sell it to me in this moment.
However, they like it, but they are knackered. And Barbara, Tom says to Barbara that he can't get his wellies off. Like he's talking to his mum. Barbara, I can't get my wellies off.
I thought that was quite cute.
Did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. You just thought he was insufferable.
Yeah. But she does a little funny, hysterical little laugh, doesn't she? Which is quite... I thought that was cute. Maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe it's just Felicity Kendall's cute and... Well, I mean, I really like Richard Bryars. I know we've had a couple of messages about negative comments about Richard Bryars, but it's not Richard Bryars. It's not
Richard
Tom.
Bryars, it's the character of Tom. But does that not say that how well written a character is when you, as a viewer, can form such an opinion about someone? They're obviously a well-written character if you are made to form an opinion, I think.
Yeah, and I have an intense reaction to the character of Tom, and yet if I see Richard Bryars interviewed or in any other role, it's like, great, Richard Bryars. Feel happy
and lovely. Yeah.
It shows you how good he was.
I hear that the Home Pride flower man. Don't know if you remember that. He was the voice of the Home Pride flower guy, and he was just so lovely. So yeah, it's not an aversion to Richard Bryars, is it?
No, we love you, Dickie.
We do.
I like Richard Bryars. I like Richard Bryars. I like Richard Bryars. I like Richard Bryars.
They decide to go to bed at 7 p.m. because they're knackered. And I'm surprised that they don't already go to bed at 7 p.m, to be honest.
After all that day's work? Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it's a seasonal thing because it's the start of the new season and they're working harder than normal. So we see, having already seen the Leadbetters' boudoir, we now see the goods bedroom, don't we?
Yeah. There's a bizarre doll's house in the corner, which I thought was quite weird and worth a mention. Underneath the window in the bedroom, they've got a doll's house. Yeah, it just seemed out of.
I did see a gramophone in there as well. Did you spot that?
No, maybe they just store lots of stuff there in order to sort of sell and barter and pass on, perhaps.
Well, they've got all their veg in the bloody cupboard in the other room, haven't they? So
yes, maybe they've moved all the other crap out of it to make room for the vegetables, perhaps. Yeah, but the doll's house in particular sort of drew my attention.
I really loved this scene, to be honest. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But the knackered Barbara doesn't even... She just, whips off her kecks and she doesn't even change her knickers, does she? She's straight into bed.
No, straight into bed. And it must be freezing as well, because Tom does make a lot of noise about the fact that it's cold.
Yeah, he wants her to warm him up, doesn't he? But
yeah.
They're struggling to sleep. And you'll have had this in the past, I'm sure. I know I have, where, you both want to get to sleep, but you're aware that the other person isn't asleep. So something will go into your head, so you'll just say it.
Yeah.
And then there'll be another 30 seconds of silence, and then the other person will say something, and then eventually you start getting annoyed at the other person, even though you're doing it as well. That's what's happening here. They are... their minds are racing, because this isn't the time they usually go to bed.
Yeah, but even when it gets to the time that they normally go to bed, they still can't sleep.
No. They're talking about the Archers, and I think Tom's making, even by his standards, the noise he's making are really, really out there. And he says, I'm sorry, I didn't even realise I was doing it. Oh
no, maybe that's what it's been all along. It's involuntary.
Well, I get this from my old man all the time when he's breathing. And, when he's eating his meal, he's like Darth Vader. I was like, how can he not hear that? And he's just got hearing aids, and now he can hear it. And he's quite shocked.
Oh, that's it then. Maybe he was just deaf and couldn't hear it.
Maybe that's the thing with Tom, yeah. I think he must be. But, so I think Tom accuses Barbara of fidgeting. And I think, well, first of all, Barbara is worried that Tom's dead because he stops making all his noises. And that again, that's something I can relate to, because as a kid, I used to have to share the room sometimes with my nan. Yeah. And she would make sort of heavy breathing noises. And you'd be listening to it, and it would be almost like if you're listening to a clock, you were expecting it,
Yes.
It'd become rhythmical. And then she'd just stop.
My God.
Shit, my nan's dead. It's like 60 seconds, even more, and all of a sudden she'd be like,
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and all the blessed saints.
Oh.
She'd punctuate like blasphemy.
Oh, jeez, for a kid, that's like anxiety inducing, isn't it?
Good life, good life, good life, good life, good life, good life, good life.
We cut to the next day, and Barbara's grouchy and emotional with Tom due to the lack of sleep because they played chess all night and listed their favourite films. And
yeah, Tom mentions that he perhaps wanted to take Psycho out of his list, and Barbara said that she was going to go Psycho if she had another night like that.
Yeah,
which did make me titter.
I end up doing those things though when I can't sleep. I lie there challenging myself to name like 10 football managers who've managed Newcastle United, or like 10 of Phoebe's boyfriends in Friends. You know, the cop who shoots the pigeon. I list them all in my head. And
do you?
Yeah, I don't know why I do it because it's not conducive to sleep, is it? But it's like, well, I can't go to sleep until I've done this. It's like a trick you play on yourself.
Right. Oh, we just put a telly on.
Yeah, you're white noise people, aren't you?
Oh God, yeah. I need noise to go to sleep. It's not very. You have like clean sleep where you're supposed to have like no phones in your bedroom and no TV on and no lights on. Nah.
Well, I thought the more
noise the better.
This whole scene, going back to the previous night, was really interesting because it was very well played as always, very well written. But it also made me wonder if bedtime routines have changed a lot since the 1970s. I mean, undoubtedly, like you said just then, with phones, they will have done because, good sleep hygiene is known these days, the things you should and shouldn't do. But despite the fact it's known, 85%, 90% of people are still looking at their screen and they haven't got like a blue light filter and all the other bad things that you shouldn't do before bed, such as, you should only get into bed when you're ready to go to sleep.
I think life was more physical. I think jobs were generally more physical, so that when you got into bed, you were bodily, physically tired.
Yeah. Well, Tom and Barbara were. But it was just sometimes you can be overtired and then you can't sleep either.
And then you can't sleep. Yeah, it's catch-22, isn't it?
Anyway, I found it a really nice, sweet scene, and it was a long scene as well that the two actors did so well. It was a long scene punctuated with lots of silence and sort of marital tension, but also fun. And I thought they did it really well. It's
perhaps time that now, if it was now, you'd have to, or you'd feel like it would have to be filled. All that silence would have to be filled, and every moment sort of accounted for. But that, just leaving it and letting it just play out like that. It feels quite natural to watch, doesn't it? Yeah,
I thought it was superb. But obviously they're knackered the following day, as we said. So
they are.
They head into the garden, and the goods are doing their very level best, which is very difficult for Tom. Not to make noise because they promised Margo and Jerry that they wouldn't after the previous morning's commotion. Tom even says,
"It's ever so hard being considerate, isn't it?"
Yes, that's because it's foreign to your nature.
He even puts a sponge in his bucket for when he goes out to milk Geraldine the goat, so that the milk doesn't even make a racket in the bucket. That's quite thoughtful, isn't it?
Thoughtful, but OTT.
Yeah, and the sponge is already filled with paraffin that Barbara's mopped up, so that's ruined the whole batch of milk anyway.
It's a good job he didn't make a brew with it, isn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah, Jerry turns up suited and booted, having just arrived home from a sleepover with...
weird situation of what's happened the night before.
Swinging.
Because I'm assuming that it's quite early. If the goods are still being quiet, we're talking at the early hours of a morning. Who comes back from a sleepover at friend's house at like 6, 7 a.m. in the morning?
He's been to one of them eyes wide shut fucking things, hasn't he?
It just sounded a bit sus.
Either that or it's been a Chelsea away trip and he's just changed into his good clothes to keep up the facade.
The pretense, yes.
So that night we see Tom and Barbara ready to go to bed again, and Tom, for some reason, is ironing the bed, which I don't really understand.
I think he's trying to heat it up. I think it's rather than, because I thought, why is he ironing the bedding if he's just going to get in it? But I think he's using the iron to heat up the bed so that when he gets in, it's warmer than it was the night before.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Barbara is very defeatist. She's sort of created a self-fulfilling prophecy with her attitude by bringing all sorts of entertainment to bed, games and pen and paper and all sorts of things. But then she falls asleep in the sitting position just when Tom suggests that she just lets go. So she's clearly highly suggestive. He says, just let go. So she does, and she's fast asleep. And then Tom sort of lifts her up, makes her balls and putting her into bed, doesn't he?
Yeah. They end up across the bed rather than in the bed, don't they?
I've had some of my best sleeps, though, in there. This is turning into the sleep deep dive overdrive, isn't it? I've had some of my best sleeps when I suddenly wake up and my head's at the diagonal point of the bed and...
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes you need to change it up. And the best sleep I ever had in my life was in St. Peter's Square in Rome when they wouldn't let me in the Sistine Chapel because I was wearing shorts.
Right.
And the Catholic Church don't like people...
They're not like legs.
They don't mind their priests buggering kids, but you can't go in with a
with
pair
your
of
legs
shorts.
bare. Oh.
So they wouldn't let me in, and Ali went in, and I just had and there was a big queue. I had a 3-hour kip on the stone floor at St. Peter's, surrounded by people, but maybe it was just a holy sleep.
Oh, maybe it was you, yes.
Maybe it was a transcendental experience, I'm not sure, but it was, I woke up from that sleep feeling so reinvigorated and rested.
Oh, see, some of my best sleeps have been during the day sleeps. I'm a good day sleeper. I can just lie down and sleep on a washing line. Day sleeps for me are the pinnacle of my sleeping experience.
I think, though, to have a good day sleep, you need to make sure you don't get under the covers, don't you? If you get under the covers...
Oh, no, I do. I get all as if I'm going to bed, yeah, I do. Although one of the best sleeps I've ever had, it wasn't in Rome, it was on a beach in France, on a holiday with a friend, and I fell asleep on the sand, and I remember waking up and feeling in a similar way. That I was just invigorated. And
you red as a beetroot the following day.
I think my back was, because I'd fallen asleep on my stomach. So, yeah. But it was a good sleep.
Sleep. In sleep, brilliant.
Love sleep.
Sleep. Should we just sack this off and go and get 40 winks?
Yeah, I could go and get back in bed. Yeah, I could. Very easily.
So, I mean, getting back to the good life.
Anyway, the good life.
The good life. Tom and Barbara are woken up by some noisy goings on outside, aren't they? And,
it's drunks. Drunks, they said. Drunks listening to Des O'Connor.
Des O'Connor. Well, I assumed it was Jerry driving because of the screeching to a halt, which is Jerry's sort of cocaine-fueled driving pattern.
Yeah, it is.
But no, there's music coming from there's clearly a party going on next door, and they well, you know what, they're outraged by the noise. I don't understand why they're not outraged at not having an invite, because they're like busy mates.
Yeah. That struck me that it wasn't the Leadbetters at first, because I thought it must be some other neighbour, because surely the Goods would be invited. But yeah, then do you assume that they've had, as couples, they've had conversations about this new going to bed early, and perhaps. So the Leadbetters just thought, well, they won't want to come, but you'd still invite them, wouldn't you?
Well, you would think so. But anyway,
they
barge around there, and it really makes me laugh on the way round. Tom yells, "Shut up!" at this whistling guy going down the street.
Oh, the audacity. Yeah.
I know, the hypocrisy that he has a go at the guy for whistling. And they pile round, and they're ready for a right old tear up with the Leadbetters, aren't they?
They're going to have a proper do.
Yeah. But it turns out it's only 8:30.
Yeah. They've arrived with Stephanie and Denzel at 8:30, and it did make me laugh because Jerry greets them at the door saying, "Oh, it's the wee willy winkies," which really made me laugh.
Yeah, I think though Jerry's initial assumption is that they're shagged out literally, and because he's like because they've been in bed nice and early.
Yeah.
But then, it soon gets sorted out. They work out that it's just a mix-up over time, and they've only been in bed an hour and a half. They must have had a nice restful hour and a half to have thought it was later.
Thought it was, yeah. You do that though sometimes, don't you? You drop off, and then you wake up and you don't know what day it is, and you don't know what time it is, and then you put your school uniform on, and it's 8:30 in the afternoon.
Do you still do that now? Do you?
Not now. I don't.
Uniform.
I've done that before now though. Fallen asleep as a kid, and then woke up and put my school uniform on, and panicked about being late for school, and it's 8:30 in the early evening.
I like it though. If you have an early night and then you do have a good few hours, and then you wake up and you think, oh, it must be 5:30, and then you roll over, you look at your clock, and it's 1:15. Oh.
Yeah, that's the best, that, isn't it?
Oh, yes. And in sleep, brilliant.
That's one of my favourite things when you look and it's still the early hours.
Yeah, or the clocks have just gone back, and you've got an extra hour. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh.
Good life, good life, good life, good life, good life, good life, good life.
So, anyway, they decide to join the party, even though they're only dressed in their PJs, which Margot's a bit aghast about.
Oh, she's a bit upset about that. Yeah.
She tolerates it. And then we got into the party, and Jerry, weirdly, is just rubbing some girl's tit.
Yeah, I think he's wiping some hummus or something. Hummus off a lady's dress. And you can tell
right on her tit, isn't it?
It is. He's proper involved, and Margo isn't looking best pleased.
I didn't clock Margo. I just thought it was...
She looks at him. She's looking at him, obviously spotting it out the corner of her eye while she's handing out hors d'oeuvres. Yeah. And, Jerry's there wiping some woman's boob.
Tit rubbing. Yeah.
Jerry.
Dirty old bugger. And, of course, Tom and Barbara are, of course, fast asleep on the couch.
Of course they are.
Because they're done in. Why they didn't go home and just go back to bed, I don't know. But then again, it is a sitcom. that probably wouldn't have been as pleasing an ending, would it?
But it was. I like episodes of sitcoms that are just neatly tied up in a bow, and this show for me is like the pinnacle of things being tied up in a bow at the end. But there's like a nice resolution. Everybody's happy. Everyone's laughing and clapping.
Yep. It was a little bit of a Thundercats one, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Snarf.
Yeah.
Come in.
Everyone's smiling and laughing and pointing.
It was nice. It was lovely.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry.
It's nearly Christmas!
Yes, Yuletide felicitations, as Margo would say.
And because we don't want you to do without this Christmas, we've got an exciting giveaway for you, just in case Harrods have let you down with your Christmas hamper delivery.
Yes, we don't want you to have to go and spend Christmas with Tom and Barbara, with the telegraph folded up on your head.
The ooh-ah bird is so called because it lays square eggs.
I don't understand that.
So because we care and we are such good eggs...
Just like Jerry.
We're giving away a cool, minimalistic Good Life poster, plus some Good Life-inspired mid-century bark cloth cushion covers for free to a lucky listener.
Made by Alison's own fair hands.
We've even got some mystery retro British sitcom posters to give away to 2 runners-up.
To enter the draw and be in with a chance of winning, you just need to do one of 2 things.
Yes, you can either join our group on Facebook, the SADDO, Sitcom Archive Deep Dive Overdrive group,
or you can leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Either or both will do. Then, once you've left us a review or joined the Facebook group, hop on over to the website at saddo.club, click the link that pops up and fill in the quick form to let us know which you did and how we can get in touch with you if you win.
You can even share the contest to gain bonus entries, and then we'll make a random draw and announce the winner and runners-up via our social media channels the week before Christmas.
Apologies if you are outside the UK though. Due to postage costs, this contest is only open to UK residents.
Yeah, sorry about that, but do feel free to share the love and leave us a review anyway, or join the Facebook group.
Good luck, everyone!
Hello, SADDO listeners. I'm Doug, and with me, listening to the show as always, is Ellie. Hello, Ellie.
Hello, and together we are
Doug and Ellie Watch Telly, a TV review show for the ages.
What ages?
People in their 40s.
That's pretty niche. It's for all ages. Basically, we watch programmes that we've watched in the past, haven't seen for ages, people think are brilliant, we're not sure if they are, and we'll just ruin them for you.
We're going to go back and we're going to piss on your memories. And we do it with relish. So, yes, please do listen to us. You can find us on all of your... wherever fine podcasts are sold. Doug and Ellie watch telly. Listen, share, review, and we'll love you forever.
And I have opinions. Thank you.
Oh, God, do you have opinions?
Did you, in this episode, spot anyone who stood out for you and was perhaps your MVP?
I think in this episode, my MVP... it's a difficult one because they're all equally on a par. Just tolerable in this episode for me. I suppose... do you know what? I'm going to give it to Margo this week because...
Okay.
Because of her quick turnaround when she was so angry and willing to take back the nutcrackers from the goods as a means of sort of conscious uncoupling from the neighbours next door who are their best friends by means of nutcracker. But she's quickly turned around by Tom after a sincere apology. And I think that she takes sort of the high road. And I like that.
Yeah, that's a good enough reason as any, I think. I think I'm a bit like you. It's like no one really stood out. By process of elimination, it can't be Jerry because he's too busy fiddling with tits, and that's not on.
Yeah.
It can't be Tom for the usual reasons. It can't be Tom. He was making too many noises, which leaves me with Margo and Barbara.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of, I don't really know, because Barbara, when she went, ha! That was quite, that was quite sweet. But I think for the reason you just outlined, you've convinced me. I'm going to give it to Margo as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on her. Although she didn't invite Tom and Barbara to the party. But we'll let her off.
Maybe what you said about them coming back from the sleepover, wherever they were, maybe there is like an undercurrent of swinging that Tom and Barbara are not involved in. So maybe it was just the swinger friends that came round.
Maybe, and when Tom and Barbara walked in the gym jams, they must have thought it was jackpot time.
Yeah. Easy pickings.
He's being an anarchist again, subverting expectations by turning up ready to swing.
Ready to swing at a moment's notice.
Given that they were wearing their pyjamas for a lot of this episode, maybe there's not a lot in Fashion Corner, but let's have a little jaunt over to that particular area of the podcast, shall we? What a shit link that was. I like that.
Fashion Corner, Fashion Corner. Fashion Corner, Fashion Corner.
It's all about the Margo in Fashion Corner this week. 2 items in particular. When she goes back round to the goods house for her nutcrackers, she's wearing this really cute top, and it's got like a wicker chair lattice work on the top. The pattern's reminiscent of a wicker chair, and it's like a grey sort of silky top with this wicker lattice work on it, and it really stood out. And it's not an image or a pattern that I think I've ever seen before on clothing or on material, but it stands out, and it really suits her. She can rock anything, can Penelope Keith, but this in particular with these pink trousers, beautiful, really stunning. And then, of course, when she's at her party that Tom and Barbara rock up to.
She's like wearing a toga or something.
She is. It's like a Grecian, I don't know if a Grecian toga, in like a green colour. And she looks very elegant and very lovely. But that's not a dress that we've seen before. I'm guessing now the budget has kicked in for Margot's evening wear, and this in particular is a stunning outfit. So yeah, it's Margo all the way this week.
What about Jerry's shirt in the party as well? The horizontal striped shirt.
Oh, yes, I did actually make a note about that. It's like a blue and white, different sort of gradations of blue and white striped shirt with a massive 70s sort of pointy collar. Yeah, it's cool. He just looks, he's very dapper, isn't he? He is very dapper.
He looked imperious as ever.
He did. But yeah, so it's all about the Leadbetters, because the goods obviously were just pyjamaed up throughout the whole episode, more or less.
True. So we had no oi-ois, we had no tab-tab.
No.
No soft porn, although Jerry did grab a tit.
You had a boob grab.
I think that brings us to the end of this episode.
It does.
Do you know what next week's episode is called?
It's the happy event.
Oh yeah, the happy event is this. This is the one where the piglets are born, I believe.
Oh, that'll be exciting.
Well, it's a bit heart wrenching because it's the run to the litter type of situation, isn't it? I think.
Does one die?
Well, I wouldn't want to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it in a while.
No, I need to rewatch that before next week.
It's a bit of a heart wrenching one.
I feel a bit sad now.
Yeah. Get it watched, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll be all right. I'll do it before an afternoon nap, then I can feel better afterwards.
Exactly. Just go grab 40 winks if it brings you down. Oh, sleep.
Oh, I'm gonna iron my bed before I get in as well. Okay, so if you're enjoying this delve through the good life with us, find out more at SADDO Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. We're also on Facebook, and you can find us by searching for SADDO Podcast. Subscribe to our newsletter by visiting our website at saddo.club, where you can get more information about us, read our blog posts, and listen to the episodes in your browser if you don't do podcast apps. Get in touch. Email us at saddopodcast@gmail.com and tell us all the things we missed, because we love that. Subscribe and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts from.
We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
I'll see thee. Go and have a nice kip.